What is up, everybody, and welcome back to yet another episode of the Camera Junkie livestream. My name is Luis, also known as Mr. Camera Junkie, where I remind you always to upgrade your skills before your gear. Black Friday is in the house, and my house is a bit of a mess, so we're gonna do this on the fly. I wanted to get everything prepared, but I just pulled up some things and we're gonna go through Black Friday deals together. Some that I'm looking at myself, others that we're just gonna find out together while we just search search the internet, search the website, Amazon, and what else we can find. But this is also where you can participate. I'll be paying attention to the chat, and I could see some people already leaving some information there, so that if you have a Black Friday deal that you want to share as well and give to the community, drop it into the conversation so that I can make sure that I make it part of the show. And that's where we're gonna go. All right, so there's a lot of things that I'm constantly looking at, but we'll get to that in the next step. The first thing that we always do, and it's tradition around here, is to check out to see who are the first members of the crew hanging out in the chat. So let's go ahead and do that first. If you're here, please give it the like button. Please hit the like button. It's highly appreciated. All right. Right off rip, we got Mr. Parker Jennings in the house saying hello to everyone. We also got Paul saying hi to Randy and to Parker. He says, feels like I talked to you a couple of hours ago. Very funny, Paul, because we did speak a couple of hours ago. And you see, Randy says, I got 10% off of the and no tax. Okay, so let me read this correctly. I got 10% off and no tax for the lens that would cost 10 times more. Hello, everyone. Brand new is great, but the older stuff isn't bad. Oh yeah, like we can see, because these used websites like MPB, what are the other ones? KEH, even B&H.com will have Black Friday deals for used equipment just the same way. We got Gretchen in the house saying hi to Paul and to Parker and to everyone. See Randy saying hi, just back. We got Mookie in the house saying, I'm looking forward to seeing what the real deal is for this Friday. Yeah, that's the other thing, you know, as of late, like, and I say late, the last couple of years, Black Friday hasn't been popping off the way that it used to. It's kind of like they arbitrarily inflate their prices the month before to then give it just like the regular sales price. and it's not something that they're really, I guess, like trying to get rid of inventory for next year's stuff. Is just a way to participate in the festivities, which is why I think that it's no longer Black Friday, that we're a complete week before the official Black Friday and the sales are already available. So it's basically just the month of November becomes the Black Friday month of sales, and see which ones are the things that you were already looking at to see if you can get an added discount for it. Yep. Everybody's saying hi. Gretchen's even saying hi to me and to Aiden. I love this. Like, I love seeing, the camaraderie in the chat. All right. There's got a lot of new lenses to go with the Nikon. Oh, I could imagine. Randy. All right. So let's go ahead and get to the next step. All right. I don't even know where to start. So you know what? Let's just start. Because there's so many things. Oh, actually, you know what? Let's start with this. Something that I picked up just a little while ago because I wanted to test out, and it's making a huge, and I mean huge difference. So right now I'm broadcasting in 4K, and as of late, some of you who've been hanging out here in the chat have noticed me talking about the choppiness and the latency in my video capture cards, which are the cam links. So I decided this week, or was it last week? Everything's running together on me, but recently I decided to pick up these basically the inexpensive Amazon version of the video capture card. Now, since the last time when I purchased video capture cards, they have expanded quite a bit, and I used to get some cheap ones that would only do 1080p at for like 20 bucks. Now I saw these that do 4K 30 at $24. And before I put my foot in my mouth, let me go ahead and just check something out real quick. Come on, guys, work with me. The windows. YOLO Live Compose, what I use for the YOLO Cam S3, that window stays above everything. So if it's covering my little like Xbox, it won't allow me to check anything out. But let me go ahead. Now I'm on Amazon. Let me go ahead and see if I can bring that up, because I don't think I have anything. Oh, I do. This opened up all my browser windows. That's another thing. Moom is an amazing program, but I got to reset it because I have it to bring up all my windows, and that's not necessary for the live stream. Okay. Let me see if the way that I'm going to be doing it, if I'm going to be looking this way, let me set up that scene. All right. Let's go to it. Okay, perfect. We're there. Like, we're there. Let me make sure. Google Chrome. Okay. All right. And you see, and I'm looking at the direction of where the deals are going to be. You know what? Let me move this a little bit more. There. So I'm blocking off less of that. All right. Perfect. All right. I'll be able to read your comments here. It says Makey is having a deal with up to $118 off of a camera lenses and up to $1,600 off any cinema lenses with free worldwide shipping. Now, Mookie, is that from like Amazon or is that directly from their website? Because, well, you know what? Let's go to their website. I think that's how you spell it, right? Nope. I added an extra I. There we are. Makey Global. Here we are. Damn, look at that. Black Friday sales. All right, so we're definitely going to look into this one. You know what? I'm going to open up another page here, right, of what I've been looking at. And I had mentioned it, I believe, a couple of weeks ago. So we'll get into that, to the Blazars, because the more and more I think I'm actually going to be picking one of those up. All right, so let's go over here back to Amazon. Video capture card. Whoa. This is the overall pick. I paid more than that. Look at that price. This is a no-brainer right here. What? This is the same one that I got. Just to show you. Oh, with the little extended cable. All right, so let me go ahead and check this out. Oh, if you're looking for it, even if you're not, that's what I'm telling you. If you were anything like me and been having the issue with the little bit of choppiness, what you're looking at in this window right now is exactly this video capture card. Now, I've been very impressed, and you know what? Let me go ahead and give you the demonstration of it. Here. Go to my main shot. Okay, so this shot right here, this is now my A7C Mark II, and I have it connected 4K 30 using this video capture card. And let me show you that I bought two of them. They went on sale, I guess, prior to Black Friday at $12.99 from $24. So there was like half off. So I said, you know what? Instead of picking one up, I'm just going to grab two, because if they're good, they're great. And if they're not, I could always return them with Amazon returns. So I ordered two of these guys, and I'm highly impressed because I'm now using my cameras at 4K and I'm not getting the stuttering that I used to talk about, that I've seen, and even some of my recordings, so on and so forth. So right now, this Camlink 4K is running $79.99, about $80. I bought them at $100 a couple of years ago. And this video capture card is blowing it out of the water. Of course, it's like, let's say 3 or 4, maybe even 5 years newer technology, right? But they've definitely caught up, and I'm more satisfied with this than I am with the Camlinks. Like, I just am. So I'm gonna show you this, and now let me see, which is my B camera. No, that's the S3. So now this is the Nikon here, and this is connected to the Camlink. And you can see what I'm talking about. Like, as soon as it goes 4K 30 or just 4K, and you're doing all of that resolution and it has to process all that resolution, there's this inherent like glitchiness to the image that I've been noticing and I just couldn't explain. There was a live stream that I did a couple of weeks ago where I took this and I changed it to 1080 on the fly, and it takes that away completely. But now going back to my main shot, this is the new video capture card, and this is 4K 30 in all its glory. And I'm no longer getting that choppiness that I'm getting from the previous scene. And that has to do with the capture card. So I bought them at $12, thinking that that's a no-brainer. But right here, we're looking at this same exact video capture card at $8 a pop. That's bonkers. So let me go ahead and drop this link. And what I'm gonna do, I'm also gonna open up a notes. Oh, I'm not showing you guys what I'm doing. So yeah, so this guy right here for this that's like, man, I pay more for a burrito bowl at Chipotle than it is for this, you know, like video capture card. So this, I think that this is something that you should pick up, even if you have an established setup and you're not having an issue. Grab one as a spare, as a backup, because if you start running with any of these issues, I'm telling you, I can vouch for this. Like, I'm just blown away with the quality. And I even checked the colors, because the colors were something that you would kind of like lose you know, I guess some of the detail in it, right? And you'll get some blotchiness of some like miscolors because of the inexpensiveness of the previous video capture cards. But now this guy is holding its own, and there's a lot of things like, first of all, it's also USB-C. So I think that that's like, it's just built for a faster connection, which is why we're not getting the latency that I'm seeing from the previous ones, which are still USB-A connections, right? The still old school square ones. So yeah, it's just not much more than I can say. I'm just kind of still in shock that it's at $8. At $8, I think I'm just gonna pick up a couple more just to have them the same as a backup. Yep. Okay, so let me do something else. What else was I doing? Just trying to get organized. I'm going to name this note Amazon. I'm writing a note. And now I'm pasting that link. So I'm going to go ahead and also paste that into the chat. And I'm going to make this list on the fly so that everything that we look at today, I'll make sure to grab all of those links and drop them into the description so that they're there. Let's get some fluids in my mouth to make speaking easier. Okay. Yeah. So that's great. Now let's check the Mikey lenses real quick. Black Friday deals. Let's shop now. Let's see exactly what they got. Okay, up to $1,600 in free delivery. Shop now. Let's see exactly what deals they have going. A lot of pop-ups. Says, how do I use the coupons? Okay. I'm guessing it's an automated like discount. Let me see if I would use any of these. If I would, it would be this 16 2.5. And if you're asking why would you go so wide, maybe the 24. But the 24 is already going to be acting like a 35 millimeter. And this has to go with, you know, depth, not depth of field of view, the field of view angle. Because most of my cameras are APS-C and the ones that I use for cinema and video, even my Red is Super 35. I always have to add that factor. So the Super 35 on a 24 millimeter lens will actually start acting like a 35 millimeter. Actually higher, 38.5, I believe. So closer to a 40 millimeter, and that would be the field of view that I would be getting with this. So that's why I wouldn't, you know, like if you already know that you're dealing with this crop factor multiplication, that you're always going to want to go to a wider lens. So if I grab the 16 millimeter and we click it here, right, I already know, especially because this is not anamorphic, so there's no squeezing or de-squeezing. Just in a spherical lens at 16 millimeters at 1.5 would act like a 24 millimeter. So this is going to give me a 24 millimeter field of view, and that would be more appropriate. Now, there was a 18 millimeter. Oh, no, actually a 20 millimeter. A 20 millimeter will actually act like a 35 millimeter, more or less, with the crop factor. So let's see exactly how. Now, I don't know, is that the regular price or is that the sale price? The sale ends in 8 days. Oh, no. Okay, so this one is $200. So this lens will come out to $900, which is a good deal. But now I actually think, you understand, because saving any money on something that you were already going to buy is good. It's just a bonus, right? But this is where I'm gonna take it, because this is what I'm thinking. Now, this is a PL lens. This is a cinema lens, so you got to give it that. But the Blazer store also has a lot of cinema lenses, and they have the one like I had mentioned that has my eye. So on Black Friday, we'll click these deals here, and let's take a look at this set that has my eye. There they are. And this is the entire set. Now, why do I mention these? Because I think this is just an amazing price. I don't think I can pass up on this deal, because if you're looking at right now for the same price as that Mikey 16 millimeter by itself at 1,099 is the price that we're getting here for the entire set of the Blazer Beetles anamorphics. Now these are 1.33 times anamorphic, so I did the conversion because I wanted to know exactly what I'd be getting. And even though this is a 32 millimeter, 45 and a 65, it would effectively be working as a 24 millimeter, a 35 millimeter, and a 50 millimeter, because of the anamorphic squeeze, and that 1.33 needs to kind of be like divided by, like in a way. So you have to implement that as well. So with the squeeze, that's the image that you're going to get. Another thing is that these lenses here have a very unique feature, that this little button right here at the bottom, if we can see it, that little button right there, what it does, excuse me, is that it gives the lens the ability to rotate, and it rotates 90 degrees so that you can make this anamorphic lens go from wide to vertical. And the de-squeezing factors and how that's going to look is going to interest me. But another thing is that this is also for full frame cameras. So even though it's the Sony E mount comparative to the PL, which is a traditional, cinema lens, excuse me, the difference is that I'll be able to use them on my Super 35 cameras to get the 1.33 squeeze out of them in the anamorphic style, but they cover full frame, meaning that if I want to throw it onto this camera right here, which is my full frame A7C Mark II, that will also work there, and I can utilize and maximize the anamorphic both on Super 35 and full frame. So it's gonna have me covered for that in the future. Any future cinema camera that I purchase, I will just make sure that I have the ability to mount E-mount lenses to it, which is where I have in my background over here, my repertoire. And so that will benefit me both Super 35 and full frame. And it's going to give me a nice set of, visuals where I can say I can get a 24 millimeter look, 35 and 50, which are the ones that I use the most personally. So I think this is going to be my Black Friday deal for myself. And at the price, we're getting 3 lenses and the added functionality, the case, for the price of that one lens at full price, mind you, not the extra $200, but at full price. I think that this is another Black Friday deal that I have to recommend. You know what? We're going to copy that and we're going to add that to the clipboard. Boom. Okay, so we have the video capture card. We have some lenses. Let me go ahead and check the chat to see what you guys are talking about. Oh, Doc's in the house. And K-Wall's in the house as well. Yeah, Mookie saying it looks like the cam link is dropping frames or something. That's exactly what it looks like. It says same thing happened to me. I bought the newer tripod and I was thinking of getting another one, and it was much cheaper a day later. I was upset, and rebelling to get another one. Uh, where did you buy it from? Because if it's just one day, I'll be honest, I'll buy two. I'll buy two at the regular price, right? Or the cheaper price. And then I'll return the one that I bought originally, like through Amazon. Like I might even do that with the video capture cards. For example, I paid $12 for them and now they're at $8. So because I bought two of them, that's $8. So if I order two more of those video capture cards, I can literally just claim the return on the ones that I paid $12 for, and I'll get my $12 back for that purchase and keep the ones at the cheaper price. I don't even have to take them out of the box, hypothetically. I just need to do kind of like the exchange, and then the next time I go to, what's the place over here? The Whole Foods, because we have an Amazon drop-off point in Whole Foods, so I just make it part of my routine, and I usually go there with a big box of all of my returns for the month. Surprisingly enough, last month I had, was it last month or the month before? One of those two. But I had like $350 worth of returned items on Amazon. I was like, oh, that's pretty impressive, like in a month. But hey, it is what it is, and it helps me out. That's why I absolutely love and recommend Amazon. Says also depends on the port that are connected to the video capture card. Slower ports and the wrong USB cable cause choppiness. I was thinking about that too, but I did all the tests on all of them. So I put the cam links on the USB-Cs just to see if that were to be an issue of giving it more bandwidth. And it's like Mookie says, it's like they're dropping frames. K-Wall's in the house as well, saying what's up to the crew. Rennie said, I set Ecamm Live Pro 4K 60 and the cameras to 4K 30, and that helped get rid of the choppiness. That is correct, because I do something similar with the S3 from YOLO Live. That YOLO Cam S3 starts at 30 frames per second, and when it's 1-to-1, just like every other camera, we get some choppiness because it's pulling every single file. But I then changed the frequency or the frames per second to 60 frames per second, which is double what the camera is actually outputting at 30, and we're getting that same rule of the 180 rule, right? That you're 2 times the speed of your shutter or what you're pulling out of, and it clears up all the choppiness, and it makes that camera very, very impressive. On another note, I recorded a video for the YOLO Cam S3 3 times this week, and 3 completely separate issues that had all the files not usable. And the first one was an audio issue that I don't know where it was coming from. There was like a high-pitched sound that it's just, I couldn't even edit the video myself. Then I re-recorded it, and that one I messed up. Why? Because I had no energy, and because I was re-recording the video that I was already feeling like defeated by the first one. It didn't work out either. So then I tried to record it again, and in the frustration, because I didn't have energy, I didn't have it. So like none of it was usable. So tomorrow, with more spunk, like more energy, I'm gonna re-record the YOLO Cam S3 video so that I can get something out. Okay, so we're on the Beatles. Let me see if you guys have any other suggestions, and let me know if there's something that you're looking for that we can maybe look for together. So Doc's in the house. He's like, hey, well, to answer her damn text, which is true, because we've been trying to get the links. So Kathy, you know what, Kathy? I need you to do this for me, okay? So that I can help you out, right? Oh, let me just show it to you. Let me get to that scene. Here we are. Kathy, this is a direct message for you, okay? Look up this thing right here. And send that to me via what Doc is talking to you about. So I just want to make sure that if you're wondering why I'm kind of speaking in code, just checking ourselves. But this is what's in my cart. And if you sent me a link to this, I will be purchasing it right away to help you on your journey. So there we go. So it's Eryone, Eryone, carbon fiber PET G in dark gray. And right now it's on sale from $26 to $17.84, which is a great deal for me. Under 20 bucks for a spool of filament is ideal. But I ran out of this one and it's got a really cool look. I really like it. You see, I'm showing you this right now. Let me go full screen again. Got a nice color, but I literally ran out and the top is black because I just didn't want to lose the print. So it's like mostly gray and then there. So I put that in my cart. Send me that link and we're good to go. Excuse me. All right. Let's see what you guys are at. Oh, here goes Doc on his 60 frames per second. It says choppiness 4K 30 from the USB port, 4K 60 fixed it. I still run the camera 4K 30, so I have little headroom for buffering. JP's in the house saying, "What's up, brother?" Hey, you know what, man? You need to reach out to me on IG, right? Because I wanted to send something your way, but I have the old address. So I need to hit up Brandon, or you could shoot me over the information of the new address so I could send something out to you, brother. We'll just leave that there. Doc is also talking something else. Says, okay, yeah. Yep, if it is, right? He says the M4 Mac Mini I bought is not like the M4 Max. Of course not. And it says the media. Okay, they're talking everything. Plug it directly to the Mac. Doc already went into help mode. I'm skipping all of these. This is my S2 rocks. Actually, it does. Let me go to it. Yeah, so take a look at this. So right here, you know what? Let me show you. Let's see. I don't think, because this is a brand new camera, I don't think that they actually have a Black Friday on this. It's on Amazon. Oh, well, I'll put a link to it as well. So right now from YOLO Live, oh, I'm not on that screen. Let me get to the edit screen. Okay, Capital One is giving me $10 savings, but it's at $200. And dude, I think it looks really good. So let me go back to it. So this is the YOLOcam S3, and there's something else that I'm going to be adding down there, and let me show it to you. Oh, I'll just take it off. I couldn't help myself, so as I was creating the video for the YOLOcam S3, I also made a step-up ring for a 67mm filter thread. So I also threw my Pro Mist filter on it, and now I could add whichever type of look that I want, like with a filter, onto my YOLOcam S3. So I'm just throwing that on there as well. And now we have Pro Mist on the YOLOcam S3, and I think this is an amazing image. Now, like I had mentioned before, whenever I go to the YOLOcam software, right, and I'm operating it, I'm gonna change it for you right now if it lets me. It's kind of frozen. What's going on? Oh, okay. Well, I guess it's recognizing that the camera is in use, and because it's in use, it's not letting me change the frame rate. Let me see if I can change the scene. Okay, I changed the scene. Let me see. Still not doing it. Yeah, it's not letting it happen. Like if it's being used, if it's being connected to, is not letting me do it. But there was that choppiness that I had mentioned that I see when it's at the 30 hertz frame rate, which is like I said, is the 180 rule. It's 1 to 1. And it might be a little bit better in low light in that aspect, but I don't recommend it because the smoothness that you want out of the visuals, it's at the 60 hertz frame rate. So that's basically the only thing. And then everything else, as far as the settings go, is to your desire. There's a lens shading correction or compensation, right? And you can see I turned that on and it brightens everything up. So even if you don't have the best lit situation or setup, this camera is going to be pulling a lot of the weight for you. But to get more of a moodiness, I actually turned that off and I prefer more of the vignetting look that you're getting out of it. And now with this filter thread adapter or lens filter adapter step up ring thing that I made for it, now I'm able to just throw those little extra looks on it and I'm having a lot of fun. And I'm going to be mentioning it in my video, but this is going to be my number one recommended camera of 2026 because I feel that the YoloCam S3 is the shortcut for cameras for a lot of people. They're not trying to learn how to get this look, they're just trying to replicate it. And I think with this camera is the easiest shortcut that you're going to get from point A to point B with a satisfactory look in your setup. And if you are a mirrorless camera owner, that a lot of us would use that camera to do or to utilize in their setup, a lot of times we're taking it on and off, right? Because when we want to use it outside of the studio, that's exactly what we would need to do and disassemble. So if you're tired of like reassembling, disassembling your setup with other cameras, then I suggest getting one of these like USB-C webcams that you can just set it and forget it and literally forget it, and just leave it there in your setup. It's so small. Um, in all sincerity, right now, all I see is like the filter. You know what? I'm gonna go grab that camera, see if I can show you. Yeah, I'm gonna show you what I'm looking at here. All right, so this is the behind the scenes, right? And that's the YOLO cam. As soon as I put on this lens filter, it kind of consumes the camera completely. You can see like, and compared to the rest of my setup here, right? Like this is teleprompter, this is cinema, and this is that Z30 that was giving me the choppiness at 4K 30, right? Because of the cam link. But then you have this little guy right here that you could just like set and forget. And with a new mod, you're able to get it. And all I see is that, you see, like all I see is lens filter and lens. The filter is bigger than the camera itself. So I think that's ideal. And another thing that this step up ring is going to allow you to do is actually connect it to a teleprompter. So now if I wanted to, I can use the step up rings from 67 to the teleprompter and throw the YoloCam S3 behind it. And now that could become my main camera if you have a similar setup like that. So that's why I think, or I know, I'm going to be recommending the YoloCam S3 for my number one recommended camera for 2026. Well, seeming that I messed up on that video like 3 separate times this week, I'm going to see if maybe I can utilize what I just said and make a video out of that. Let's see what happens. back to the chat over here. Mulain is in the house. How you doing, brother? All right, perfect, man. Randy says, now I have 3 cameras, an external hub on the M4 Pro Mac, and I have the Thunderbolt 5 cable. Oh, they're still talking about this stuff over here. Yeah, we know you work at Ecamm, boss. This conversation has just gone off. So Doc Rock, I'm gonna. Hey, how you doing, Mr. Seal? He's in the house saying, hello, mate. Doc is just giving a masterclass in the chat. Appreciate you, bro. Yes, you are a moderator and you can put links. This is all what Doc is saying. See? Now, if you guys are wondering, like, what is he reading and what is this soliloquy that Doc is going through, you're going to have to be here on the live show that you can read it yourself in the chat or watch the replay because the chat's still there as well. Okay, so they're talking hard drives and I got to the end. So, all right. So now we're going to continue. They haven't asked for anything, so I'm going to continue and see what we can find. Let me bring down the Yellow Live Compose. Back to the jungle website, the Amazonia. And yeah, let's see what more deals. Oh, okay. These are priced well. So we've been talking a bit about webcams, right? We're talking about the YellowCam S3, but another set of USB-C webcams that I have in my set. One of them is, let me get it, that guy right there, which is the OBSBot Tiny 2 Lite 4K webcam, and it's a PTZ, so pan tilt zoom, super cool. I actually really enjoy that camera. And right now, yeah, these are all at great prices. Oh, I'm in the wrong scene. Where's my edit scene? That's the back one. That's overhead. Nope. I gotta change that one on my. That should be the overhead. You know what? Let's do it right now on the fly. I'm gonna configure my Stream Deck. I'm gonna select my Ecamm Live, and now this comment window is gonna run scene. Edit. There we go. Bam. So now when I hit that button, it goes to the correct scene. Okay. We're becoming more efficient on the fly. So we're going to close that down. All right. And we're seeing webcams. So this is what's on sale right now. Like the Insta360, I haven't tried this one. This one looks interesting right here. It's at $149, 4K. I haven't seen the quality of it, so I cannot vouch for it, but it's also a PTZ, right? It almost looks like the top half. What is, everything is popping up right now. It looks like the top half of a Pocket 3. You know, it's got that type of look to it. Let's see what it has here available. Okay, it's got a 1/2-inch sensor, which, you know, going back to it, I think the YellowCam S3 has the biggest sensor in webcams. I think it's a 1 1/3, which is one bigger than this, obviously. 1/2-inch sensor. It says natural bokeh, which a lot of these cameras do have. Like, if you're able to set the autofocus correctly, then you won't be like, you don't have to use artificial like background blur, which to me I think is the worst. I did a call recently with somebody, and like half of their head is getting chopped off because of like the green screen background and all the things. It's just, I guess to me as a camera junkie, those are the things that annoy me, but nobody else. Okay, so that's an interesting camera. It's at $149, but this is the whole thing. If you don't need a PTZ, if you don't need the pan tilt zoom, then I think the one that I have to recommend the most is going to be this ObsBot here, and it's at 29% off and at $100. So that's one of the things that we also utilize as, you know, the today's actually not the best day for the scavenger hunt. So I duly noted, everyone. I'm not giving you a lot of visuals of where the things are hidden around, but um the ObsBot Meet 2 4K webcam. See, it has got the same half-inch sensor, or yeah, sensor of image, so it'll be just like the one that we previously had, or that we were previously looking at. And this is the difference. If you don't need pan tilt zoom, if you just need something that's just like directly onto your camera setup, right? Just like this guy's showing you right here. If this is all you need, then, you know, save yourself the extra $50. That's like an extra 30% off of the previous price of the previous camera. So this, I believe I purchased at $120, which still at that price is a great deal, right? Even I think the list price is $140. It's still a great camera. It's so small. I use it as my overhead. So my overhead shot is exactly, this is the quality that you can get 4K. No, I said it wrong because I did switch it out. It's not the SC. So we'll take that out. It's the actual the Meet 2. The SE is exactly the same as the Meet 2. The only difference is that that one is limited to 1080p. So you really have to, like I always say, reverse engineer your needs and your wants out of your setup. If you're looking for something that you can just set there by itself, like and you need 4K, then you'd be getting the Meet 2 that has the 4K capability. If you're like, I don't need to be that extra high res, I just need something that's a bit better than what I have in my built-in webcam, then at that time is when I would say, of course, 1080p out of a half-inch sensor webcam is gonna decimate what you have as a 720 tiny little webcam on most laptops. So if that is the case, you can save even more money, because I believe the Meet SE, which is the same exact frame, my God, it's under $60. See? So right here, the Meet SC, as you can see, the picture looks identical. There's really no difference on the outside. It's just the internal, and this one's limited to 1080p. But it's a good 1080p. Like I can't really knock on it. So with that being said, at 1080p under $60, this is a no-brainer. So I'm gonna definitely be throwing this onto the list as well. Let me grab the link. Hey, Scott's in the house. What's up, crew? How you doing, sir? Thanks for hanging out here, checking out some deals. So I just dropped that into the chat, but I also got to open up my notes. So many things open. All right. So the Meet SE, bro, $60. I might buy some of those as like stocking stuffers, you know, for some of my family that always talking about it, you know, and always wondering, and be like, you know what? No more conversations. Here's a webcam and get yourself started. You know what? Another thing that we should look for, microphones, because audio is so important when it comes to video. I'm a camera junkie, but I always mention bad audio is unwatchable. And if you have staticky bad audio, like the reason why I couldn't complete my videos because of the high pitched squealing that was recorded with it, like it's a no-go. You know, people never say, oh my God, the video quality was so bad that my eyes were bleeding. No, but you do hear people saying, bro, the audio was so bad I thought my ears exploded, right? There's a huge difference. There's another level of sensitivity with audio. So bad audio is unwatchable. Make sure that you get your audio on point. That makes a huge difference from, people hanging out or just saying like, you know what, I can't deal with the bad audio anymore. I gotta bounce. So huge difference. All right, so this is the 1080p version. I'm also gonna put, because if you need 4K, $100, guys, that's like a no-brainer. Let's copy that as well. Faster. And we're gonna drop that there and there. All right, let me see where we're at. People are saying hi to Scott. They're talking Hub still. King Kirk is in the house. These holiday deals, wallin'. I'm about to ball out. Yo, I got my friend. He's been trying to put together a music type of live stream. In all sincerity, that's what he wanted to do. So he's like yo, I just want to hop on my laptop and I want to like vibe out. And he's a music composer, so he just wants to put his tracks out there while like he's hanging out at his house. And I told him, bro, you just need a good microphone to start the thing off. Then the audio is going to be coming from the computer, and a good enough, right, a decent webcam. And he said that he wanted 4K, and I recommended this one, and he bought it recently. So we should be getting him creating content soon, and I'm excited about that. I'll also drop his IG. Let me see. Okay, I'll get stuck on these daily art things. Absolutely love it. I think I got a message here from Mr. JP, but I'll check that out in a little bit. Oh, I'm running such a blank on his IG name, because I have his you know what? I'm gonna come back to it because I can't remember his name right now. Brain fart. All right, but that wasn't the primary because that's not Black Friday deals. But if you do want to check it out, I'll make sure that I'll leave it in the description and you can find his info there. So yeah, his name is Johnny, Johnny G, as I know him. And yeah, he's a music composer. He's been around the world. He knows a lot of rap artists, hip hop, things like that, and he's been wanting to put all these things together. So I've got him started on the OBSBot. But to tell you the truth, that was before the S3, the YOLO cam, because if you want even higher quality, I do have to give it up to the YOLO cam. S3 is punching way above its weight. I think it's the best webcam USB-C that you can get right off the bat. But second of all, I wouldn't even put it into that category. Like, I would compare it more towards like the Nikon Z30, which is a full-fledged, video camera. So comparing a Z30 with this thing, I gotta stop saying but today is a bad day for words. Connected via capture card, HDMI cable, adapter from HDMI to micro HDMI, the camera itself, the lens, maybe a filter, the fan that you need to put on the back of it to make sure that it doesn't overheat so that you can use it as a live streaming camera. All of these things will quickly run you around $1,200 to $1,300. Or you can get a YOLOcam S3 and connect one USB-C cable and you're good to go. Now, I added that little extra pause because I'm going to see if I can use those clips to make a video out of today's live stream. Fingers crossed. Oh, I was actually looking at the wrong camera. I was looking at the Z30 when you guys are down here. Kathy says, I may get that Meet 3 for my brother. He's struggling using his, you see, and that's the whole thing. Like, that's, Miss Diana Gladney says this all the time. Too many Learning curves will leave you spinning in circles. So that's why I think I'll be recommending these USB cameras, because not everyone is a camera junkie. Not everyone wants to get onto the nitty gritty and find details of every look. Some people just want something that looks good enough and plugs in easily, which is where I think the idea came from the OBS, but this is a good installation to the field. Okay, go back here. Let's go back to see what other things might catch my eye. You see, this cam link that I would not recommend, that I'm not gonna put in here, is at $80 for Black Friday, but it still sells for $100. This selling for $12 and giving me a nicer image with less stutter, right? Less dropped frames, and right now being sold for $7.99, $8. Change your whole setup. That's what I'm doing. I'm most likely grabbing 2 more just in case and having them as backups, because I'm just gonna switch everything over. And if you do have an older connection, right, it still has the adapter so that you can go to USB-C A if necessary, depending on your IO connections on your computer. But that's gonna stay off of it. Now, if you really want to go top dog, now we can talk to Doc about this, because they have their $1,000 PTZ, and this is from the same company, OBSBot. And this guy is not small at all. This guy is substantial in size, but you're gonna get a huge increase in image. And this 5x optical zoom, I can vouch for it. Doc has played around with it in his setup, and he's zoomed into things and gotten amazing details. So if you're a producer, right, let's say you do events and you want to have like granular control over multiple cameras, with Ecamm and some of these OBSBot tail 2 cameras, you can run a very efficient setup, and you'll have control over pan, tilt, zoom on multiple cameras, which is super cool. Let's say you're thinking about starting a podcast. This is something that you could be looking into. So this is something that I'm gonna add the link as well, because it would be something that I would recommend. All right. OBSBot company itself has really been doing well. I highly recommend them. Now, if you're saying, I'm in between those, right? There's options, because that's a Tail Air 2. Man, I can't believe I ran a blank on Johnny's name. That's me going back to it. This is the Tail Air. This is the first one now. This is the in between. So you have like the Goldilocks effect, right? You have the small, which is the Tail Air. No, the Tiny 2, which is the one that I got over here in the corner. Let me go grab it. So this is the Tiny, and you can see it is very small, right? But like I said, it gives you the pan, tilt, zoom feature, right? And another thing that I've done on this setup is I actually set it upside down, which allowed me to use one camera as my front facing camera and also as my top down camera. So let's say you were limited in budget and you wanted to get 2 cameras. This might be the one that you can get that does both, because it has an automatic video rotation. So if you were to put it upside down, it recognizes that it's upside down to give you the image up right side up, but then you'll still have the functionality of the pan, tilt, zoom. And because you're placing it upside down, it will give you the ability to look straight down with it, using it as a top down. And with Ecamm, you could actually just set up a couple of different scenes that gives you the ability to do that, and it'll switch automatically because of the presets. So highly recommend. But like I said, in the Goldilocks zone, right? If you didn't want that, then you have the ability to step up to the bigger size, which is the Tail Air. And the one that I showed previously, which is the Tail Air 2, would be the father size, like the large. So small, medium, large, and PTZ cameras from the same company. And they're all on sale between 20 to 30% off. So might be cool to look into these. Oh, you know what? Everything that I'm talking about, I gotta get a link for it. I gotta get better on that. All right, let's see what else is on. Oh, we are gonna say microphones, and yeah, we're at the hour, so let's go. And you know what? I just put in microphones. Let's see what's available. Okay, Hollyland kits. In this case, seeming that I'm thinking it's more of a like basic setup, like starting out, right? Family members that have been bugging you for things, you can get some stocking stuffers. USB Type C. Let's see what we can find here. Now, Hollyland. Now you see this one right here? This is $10. I can't knock on it, guys. I bought this for $10. It was on sale, right? And I was like, hey, $10, like I said, you could spend that on a Subway sub, right? So let's see how this looks. And I was surprised that it gave decent quality audio. There was another one that I was really highly impressed on to see if it comes up. It's like a knockoff of these Hollyland Larks. And actually, I should have it around here as well. I do not. But I also know I have a live stream. I bought. What is this? Okay, so these are the Rode knockoffs. Let's take a look at this. Okay, not too bad. If you're someone who's like you're not too worried about the size of the microphones and things like that, like this could be a pretty good deal because it looks like the same brand as the ones that I bought for $12 that have impressed me a lot when it comes to this, because like I said, we've just gotten to a point where even the cheap stuff is definitely good enough, right? This microphone has noise cancellation on it, and I know that because it has the same symbols as the previous ones, and it looks like there's a linking involved, which I don't know if that it looks like you could maybe use these as stereo microphones to get a left and right. But for the price, this is pretty cool. Like right now, you can get yourself set up for, if I'm just doing this off of the top of my head, camera for $60, a microphone for like $10, right? Because we don't even need to get this one. That's an extra 40. It really depends. Like, take a look at this. This is the fine microphone with a stand. The K668 is at $63. You can get an entire setup for literally under $200, maybe even 150, depending on it. Ooh, Tonor. Let's take a look at this. Interesting. Cool feature that I see is the mute button on the top. It's got a mount just like a webcam. This is interesting. Super cardioid. So, yeah, this looks interesting to me. Let me know your thoughts on this, because this is a new, like, we usually don't see this, and it's a USB-C directly to your computer. It's got noise reduction built in. That's what I'm telling you. Like, now we've gotten to the point with the technology that, like, everything has some type of noise cancellation, because they understand that life happens and people are using these microphones for these setups. If it was 5 years ago when we were just starting, like, the lockdowns and everything, none of this was in the market. But because of how we are so interconnected now via, like, these Zoom chats and live streams and things like that, it's an entirely different market. And it's funny, Tom Buck actually had a live stream that he was doing, I think it was yesterday. And yeah, it was yesterday, Friday. I was hanging out while editing in the chat with JP and Brandon on the uncensored live stream. And while that was happening, as soon as we finished there, I saw that Tom was on. So I hopped on, and in the chat, Tom was like, "Oh, I wanted to tell you something," and so on and so forth. So I messaged Tom. You understand? I told him, "Hey, bro, you don't have to make a live stream just to send me a message. You could always text me, because I think it's overkill." But it's funny that me and Tom probably communicate more through live streams than we do through text, even though we have each other's numbers. It's just funny how it's worked out that way. So, but that's the space that we're in today. You understand? Like, that one interests me. I'm gonna like leave that one, and that's how I get too many pages on my Chrome browser. See price. Look, this is amazing. Okay. So let's say if we got a camera and we got a microphone, we pretty much got most of the bases covered, right? The last thing that you would need is maybe just like an amazing program to put everything together. I think I got just the thing. Check this out. Bam. Ecamm Live. So now, if you've been hanging out here on the live stream, you've been seeing me change screens, bring comments up, do everything on this live stream on the fly. And all of that is done with the power of Ecamm. And right now, on their Black Friday deals, as a new customer, you can get 40% off the listed price. So it's an amazing deal. And if you've been on the fence at any time, this is the time to strike the iron while it's hot. 40% off of the most amazing program. And that's just to say, it's the least expensive program that you can find that does all of this on the market right now. So the least expensive, and you're getting an additional 40% off. This is like a no-brainer. I will call this a zombie brainer, right? Because even zombies will be live streaming with Ecamm Live. So that's the one that I had to tell you. If you've been waiting at all, this is the time to strike the iron while it's hot and get your copy of Ecamm today at 40% off. And that's their Black Friday deal. It started 2 days ago as of the 20th, and I believe it's going to be running towards the end of the month. So this is the time. If you haven't done it, this is the time to jump in. And the way things are changing with the YouTube algorithm and everything, live streaming is taking off. And they're trying to remove a lot of this, what's called AI slop. Trust me, they're looking for the more real and the more authentic. And if you can go live and creating something that you love, Ecamm is there to have your back. So get Ecamm today. I'm going to try to clip these things, man, and get this going. Hey, I know that guy. He looks familiar. It's on the website and stuff. All right, let's go back to it. Oh, I can't get too close. I cut my head off over here. All right, guys, I did not have time for Cities Gall. My bad. My bad. But there is something that we can still do, but I have to do it on the fly as well. So let me go ahead and open up Mr. Chad from GPT. Find this here. We're going to be doing snap decisions. And I just add chat. I just asked Chad for this week's set of questions. And I'm waiting for Chad to respond. But we're going to get to it. And in this week's snap decisions, I need to get some more music and everything. I know. It's on me. But we're going to get to it. All right. Question number 1 from Mr. Chad GPT in this week's Snap Decisions. Would you rather collaborate with your favorite creator once or build a small but super loyal community that supports you forever? Okay, so that's the first question. This is the time where you get to participate and let me know what you guys think. The question at hand is that: would you rather collaborate with your favorite creator once or build a small but super loyal community that supports you forever? Well, if you've been here from episode 260 today, all the way trickled down to episode 1, right? If you've been here for any of this last 5 years, you know that I would be saying super loyal community that supports me forever. Like, that's why I'm here. I'm here because of you, not because of the other big creators on the platform. Those are co-creators, right? Just like you have co-workers, you have co-creators, and it would be amazing to collaborate with that. But I have amazing creators like Mr. Doc Rock here, who is an extremely personal friend of mine, my best friend, and I wouldn't trade that for the world. And it's funny that I can say that about Doc. And now that I'm thinking about it, it sounds banana, but I don't think we've actually collaborated on a video together as content creators. Now, we've been part of each other's content, but not really as like a collaboration, which I think we should change for 2026. He's been on my podcast and things like that, but that's different. I was saying, like, collaborating as a project is something that we haven't done. So you see, 2 birds, 1 stone, because eventually with your super loyal community that supports you forever, you'll be that big content creator that people would want to collaborate with you. And that's my thoughts on question number 1. All right. Let's see what you guys say here. Gretchen saying, clip that. That was something I said, obviously, previously. Then now I got to record a video. Doc just stepped out. He's saying, bump the cam links. Oh man, you guys have been chatting for a long time and I've just been on a soliloquy. Okay, so everybody's saying number 2. Yep, the community forever. I'm thinking he's talking about my Ecamm plug. Appreciate it. Yep, rather have a super loyal community. Number 2, community forever. Build a community. You guys are part of it, right? Number 2 here. Says my favorite creator is Razor Ramon. Can't do a collab with Brody. Okay, I'm not sure who that is. Because that's one of my superpowers that most people don't know, is like I'm kind of like detached with a lot of popular culture, things like that. So people who are big on the platform, I tend to treat just like I treat everyone here in the community, because we're all people, right? Some people might get grandized in their heads, but we're all people, and I treat everyone just the same. And I think that's one of my superpowers, because the big content creators also recognize that they're just people, and when you treat them nicely accordingly to who they are and not what they've done, then you're just gonna, you're gonna find that natural connection between friends, so on and so forth. So that's the way that I feel about that, and that's kind of like my superpower. I learned that years ago when we were hanging out on this application. What's it called? Clubhouse, right? I was moderating rooms with Doc, with a Butch. Man, that goes back. And I, like I had a room that we were running for hours, and I had MKBHG just hanging in there, listening to me for hours. And I'm like, that's a flex, right? But at the same time, it's not what we're there for, right? And there was huge content creators that were coming up to speak, and Doc was asking them questions, but then even he felt a bit like taken back once he realized who he was talking to. And I'm completely oblivious to like who these people are and the creators that were on that platform. So I was just like I said, just treating them all the same. And that's kind of been like my superpower. All right. Question number 2, because we got to close this out. We're already 20 minutes past the hour. Question number 2 on Snap Decisions. Would you rather have 1 million followers who barely engage, or 10,000 true fans who buy and watch everything you make? Obviously, number 2. I need to help Chad come up with some, because these I feel are kind of obvious, but I would still love to hear what you think about it. Would you have 1 million followers who barely engage? See, 1 million followers is great if they engage, right? But then you also have to think about it, right? If you have 10%, ooh, I'm about to throw some math your way. 10% of 1 million is 100,000, right? Let me make sure I'm doing my math right. 1 million. Yeah. Okay, so 10%, but then that would mean 1%, right? I'm just speaking to myself. What happened to the music? Interesting. Why did that stop? That was strange when it came to the music, because it's on shuffle, but it almost looked like it reached the end of the list when it's on shuffle. But going back to the question, I believe 1% of 1 million is the same exact number. Okay, so 1% of 1 million followers is 10,000 people. So that, you know what? I got to give Chad a little bit more of props on that question, because it's depending on how you see it, right? 10,000 true fans who buy everything, who buy and watch everything that you make is amazing. This is where Benji Travis and Pat Flynn have talked about this. Oh, Kathy's just talking about that, right? I read Pat Flynn's super fans. Exactly. Those 10,000 or be powerful, right? And I think that that's kind of the way that I would take it. Obviously, my channel is like this. I would love to amass to 1 million followers, but if I were to pick one of the two, I would actually think the 10,000 true fans, or like Pat Flynn says, super fans, is the way to go, right? Let's just say for longevity, you'd be able to manage and sustain that 10,000 a lot easier. But it depends on how you look at it, right? Because there are some people who have their privacy and they don't want to be so community oriented, right? Right? Let's just say they're a complete introvert and they're an artist in the true sense of the term, and that they're not really interested into being public. They just want to produce their art, whatever it may be. 1 million followers with less engagement might be ideal, because you could be reaching around the same numbers. because anything that happens on these platforms, like even the worst performing videos, you're still going to be getting around 1%. So if you've amassed 1 million followers and you drop a stinker, right, whatever it is, whether it's a merch drop, a video, whatever it is, you're still going to be getting basically the same numbers of your true fans within the mix of 1 million, not so hard fans. So it is just a different way that you look at it. I am very social. At Alicia has actually called me a social butterfly, and I just told her, why a butterfly? You could have called me a social anything, but the butterfly animal is what, like, it's not my spirit animal. But at the same time, that's where it really goes to play. Like for me, it will be the 10,000 true fans just because of the way that I work. But if you're someone who's very standoffish, maybe the 1 million with just that 1% bump is going to give you the similar type of results, but definitely not the same type of memories, right? And that's where I had a conversation with Brandon Washington and a couple of other people. Quincy Harris, as well, as basically saying that is the difference between audience and community, right? There's a lot of people who just post content and they have a huge audience, but they don't know who they are. And it's very different because I feel that I know all of the people in the chat. A lot of you, and that's what's so surprising, a lot of you I've got to meet in person, in real life. And there's some of you who are still on that list waiting for those things to happen. So that's where I would take it as far as those two. So I would like to have the 1 million follower plaque, right? The gold play button, right? But I'll be happy with my silver play button at 100,000 and my 10,000 true fans. I think that's my goal. And with your help, we're gonna get there, because I know you guys are just gonna be talking about like, yo, did you check out Mr. Camera Junkie stream? He's gonna be 5 years doing this. 5 years. All right. And now question number 3 to close this out. Would you rather always be a mentor, teacher to others, or always be a student learning from the pros? Wow. That's an interesting question. So let me repeat it. Would you rather always be a mentor, teaching others, or always be a student learning from the pros? I don't think there's a difference. Now, I would love to hear what you guys have to think about this, right? But I don't think there's a difference, because there's so many, like, phrases and sayings that I've heard throughout my life, which you try to implement as best as possible. To be a mentor, right? To teach others, you have to constantly be learning. And that's what you have to love about it. Like, I know that a lot of you have learned a lot of things from me through these live streams. But at the same time, I put in more than double the amount of work of learning these things, right? Of listening. And it's like they say, God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth. Use them accordingly. So I try to get twice as much information in and comprehend that before I can say, hey, I can speak about this confidently, because it's either something that I am fully in belief of, or that I've experienced myself, which is why I usually have a full belief on it, because I put it through the fire and I've tested it myself. So that's where I would take it. Always a student learning from the pros. Yeah, if going by the way this question is asked, I would always rather be the mentor, because I can learn from the pros, but guess what? I could also learn from the novice. I could learn from the newbies who are coming in to have a completely different perspective and are not tied down to legacy terms or formats or different things in general. So that's kind of the way that I would take it. Did we lose our camera? Yeah. I lost my rear camera over here, right? Let me see. Yep. I lost the iPhone camera. We still have the top down. Yep, we have the top down. Let go back to over here. Okay. Even my setup is saying, Lewis, it's time to shut it down. Let's get it done. But that's why I said, like, when it comes to the mentor, I think being a mentor is constantly being a student. Now, you might not be learning from the pros, because when it comes to learning, the pros aren't the only ones who have all the answers. So I would rather be a mentor that's teaching, because I'm always learning, but just not from the pros. I can learn from nature itself, but I think that that's what I would prefer, because I would always, how other people have said, and I'm going to repeat it here, I will go where the dopamine leads me, right? I will go to what interests me, to what's going to give me that spark of creativity and to stimulate my mind muscle. And that's where I'm going to go. So that's where I feel that I always am going to be learning, and I am the biggest fan of learning every day, which is why I always tell you guys to upgrade your skills before your gear, because you can learn to become a better photographer before you buy the better camera, because the better camera is not going to make you take better pictures. Your skills are. And there we have it. Now, guys, I'm going to tell you, I wasn't able to put together a cities golf, but I'm going to try to do one on the fly. And that was this week's episode of Snap Decisions. I'm even forgetting the name of my own things. Let me see what you guys wrote over here. The second question was tough. Oh, I didn't see this from Mr. Steele over here. Second question is tough. Maybe 1 million. That way I can have a second channel. Big channels pay to make the content you really want from the 10K community. Well, that's the whole thing. If going back to it and just touching on this, Pat Flynn, dude's doing great. And the thing is that once you learn to build that 10K community that's strong, the bigger channels it's inevitable, because he went from a small channel that, like you're saying, the 10,000 followers, and now he's got even a completely different channel called Deep Pocket Monster, which is crushing on the Pokemon universe. And he did that to do with his son, and that has taken off 10x compared to his main channel or his first channel. So it really depends. Now, these are for question number 3. Student always learning is more important. See? That's hard. I feel like life's mission is to be an educator, but as an educator, I'm a lifelong learner. You see, and this is from a principal. See, so before I even read this comment, that's exactly how I feel, and that's why I said I would always love to be the teacher, because it forces you to learn, right? I think that I have had to learn more when I've been asked something and said, "Hey, why does this do this?" And I'm like, that's a really good question. I've never come across it. And then I fall down the rabbit hole of learning why that's happening, flicker rates, like hertz, frequencies, frames per second, all of those basically fall under a very similar oh, excuse me. They fall under a very similar category. So that's why I say, like, I learn more from teaching than I do from just saying, like, there's both. So I think that one I would be both, because I think you can't be one without the other, like Kathy was saying. See, always be learning. That's the way that we have it here. Agree? Not the difference. True teacher, mentor is a lifelong learner. See, and this is a librarian slash kindergarten teacher. It is able to learn from those who teach. That was my philosophy through my entire teaching career. I learned from those I taught. See, and that's why I said, like, I'm not a pro, right? Like a pro, like people would say, like, oh, you're not making movies in Hollywood. You're not a filmmaker, right? You're not a this, you're not a that, which is fine. And it's true, right? I say I am a video content creator, because that's what I have backing on. I am a live stream, like professional, because Not only do I do it professionally, but I do it for fun, and I do it a lot. Um, so I have those skills into play, but I wouldn't consider myself a pro. And yet I know that I've taught so many people on this platform. Like I just had a Zoom meeting where somebody was just giving me like the flower, so to speak, of all of the things that they've learned from me personally. And I was just taken back and really humbled and blown away. Really grateful that I have the ability to do this, especially when I have so much fun doing it. Okay, so K Wall is responding to Gretchen, says, I find that when my students can actually teach the content, then I've done my job as a teacher. And I feel the same way, Kathy. There's a difference between regurgitation and comprehension. And that's where I think that most people get lost. People can regurgitate or basically mimic something that somebody else has done. But if they don't have the comprehension of how they did it, then it's just like a facsimile. It is literally just a carbon copy of it. And if you were to say, hey, how did you get there? That person will not have the comprehension to be able to teach that forward, because they're just the end game, so to speak. And that's the difference between, like, I would say, learning and teaching in this sense. So I agree with it. Like, I learn more from just everything around me, and I'm always like willing to learn from anyone. And that's why I think I have an audience, because there are some people who are like me who are willing to learn even from me. Oh, it looks like Randy's out. Yeah, weird. 37. He's saying happy have a wonderful Thanksgiving, everyone. Stay safe and keep smiling. Cheers. Did I bring that up? There we go. Says, I'm having fun this year, back in teaching role as a chess club advisor. Okay, this is good to know. Says, I have a blessed Thanksgiving week all. Okay. It looks like Kathy's also heading out. So true. Says, I do not like the new chess boxing. I like the original. Now that's a whole nother rabbit hole. And you see, she doesn't even know. She says, what is chess boxing? I've never heard of it. Google YouTube and you'll be shocked. Okay, you see, that's another rabbit hole. But guys, I don't have a city's gaw. I see a little Mr. Aiden coming out to ask me for something, so I'm gonna have to jump into dad duties. But this is the part where I thank you, as always, for making this my favorite place to hang out week in and week out. So thank you, as always. If you're still here, if you are, please be sure to hit the like button, like and subscribe, and do all the YouTubery things. I want to wish everyone hanging out here or anyone seeing this video in the future a very happy holiday. Have a happy Thanksgiving. I wish you all the best, and I hope that you get to spend the time with your loved ones, which is what I'm going to be doing. Obviously, I'm hanging out with my dad and my son, which are my loved ones that I have closest to me. But I will be taking off to my sister's house and just having a small like family get together there. So I'm looking forward to that. Plus, it's another meal that I don't have to cook or clean up. And you know what? You know what's probably one of the best things of Thanksgiving? Leftovers. What's up? I'm gonna have like an entire like what do you call it? Those metal sheets. Look at this guy. Look at Aiden. Look at how tall he's getting. You saw him stand up? He's been standing up all by himself now. So look, he's just asking me to pick him up. Hey, you're on TV, and you're amazing. This guy, look at this guy. Say hi to everyone. He just wants daddy go gym. So that's it, you guys. Thank you, as always, for making this my favorite place to be week in and week out. Happy Thanksgiving, happy holidays to everyone. I can't wait to hear all of your amazing stories next week, because if you didn't know, we're going to be doing another one. So mark it down on your calendars. Give yourself a reminder on your iPhone. Say, hey Siri, remind me at 9:45 Saturday that Mr. Camera Junkie is going to go live at 10 p.m. so that I don't miss it, and set your reminder. If your phone heard me, they might have said it already. So there you go. And that's where we're gonna leave it. So guys, as always, take care of yourselves and each other, and I can't wait to see all of your smiling faces while we do it all over again right here on the Mr. Camera Junkie YouTube channel. So until then, I will see you next time. Talk to you. And this is where we do the outro.